Copernicus Quark, and yes, that was an impressive wall of fire I just walked past. I'm gonna be real with you folks for a moment. When President Vironix recommended I take on a new ranger, I knew just where to go. That's right. We want you!
Hello and welcome to a video for the 6thAxis.com. I'm Stefan. Today I'm joined by Tough Gub. Say hello, Tough Gub.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, Mr. Kev.
Good. And you've been playing Ratchet & Clank?
I have indeed.
So, what is Ratchet & Clank? Is it... Because obviously, there's been so many Ratchet & Clank games. This one doesn't have a subtitle. Is it a remake, reboot, remaster, a rehash?
It's sort of everything. It's a little bit... What they've done is to get around the fact it's not a reboot. Captain Quark explains that, or gets told that someone is making a game of the movie of the game he was in.
Of his life?
Yeah, which is obviously the first game and the Ratchet & Clank movie, which is coming out. But he claims that they're going to get it all wrong, so he narrates the new game. So basically, the new game is it's kind of like, you could call it like a dream, really. It's Quark's versions of events of the original tale.
Is he a reliable narrator, or is he an unreliable narrator?
It's mostly correct. There are some amusing bits where he does go slightly off the script.
Right.
But it's based on the first game.
Yeah.
But they've basically merged in all the good bits from the other games. So
Okay, so it's a mixture of new ideas and old story, and obviously new graphics and stuff. It's a big mishmash of stuff from across the series.
yeah, but the levels are mostly from the first game, and some of them are almost identical. A lot of them have been changed. There's a couple of new ones, and the plot is, well, kind of the same as the first game. But they've brought in a load of new characters to tie in with the movie, including Dr. Nefarious, who I don't think turned up until Ratchet & Clank Future.
So how good does it look then? Because obviously you've got the generational leap. It's going to be miles better than the PS2 originals. The PS3 games look really good though.
They do, and to be honest, it's the same kind of jump they made from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4. It does look stunning in some places. I mean, proper. As I said in the review, it's almost getting to that Pixar level. You're still getting the odd bit of anti-aliasing, and you can the odd join where the levels haven't been matched up quite perfectly. But at some points, it is just gorgeous to look at.
It's really busy as well.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Even on the, like the city levels, the sky is just teeming with rockets flying past, and spaceships and bits and pieces. But yeah, it looks fantastic, and the cutscenes are really well done as well.
Oh, well, speaking of the cutscenes, this is a game tying in with the film thing that's coming out, but the film's coming out after the game?
Yes, so if you do want to go and see the film and you haven't played the original game, don't play this first, because this is the plot of the film, so it's going to spoil it. And there is, I think it's like 20 minutes of cutscenes from in the game are actually made out of from the film, so they've actually put in part of the film into the game. Right.
Okay. That's interesting. That's interesting how close it is. I think it's going to be interesting if it's the same, if they wrap the film story up in the same way with Quark narrating and stuff. Or if I don't
think they have. I think that's how they've cleverly got around this being a game of the film of the game, because this isn't the film. It's Quark's version of the film. So that's why there's these extra levels and there's bits and pieces. I'm sure there's a lot of the stuff in the game which isn't in the film. But using Quark as the narrator, they can get around that by just saying, well, Quark's made that up. So that's why it's in the game. It's not in the film, but that's his version, so that happened.
Right, okay. But talking about the actual game itself.
Yes.
Where are we in terms of like the actual gameplay? Because you said it's a mixture of old stuff and new stuff, but in terms of variety, is it, still mainly platforming and shooting? Or
No,
what?
not at all. It's the platforming and the shooting. I mean, after I think it's 8 main games, you would expect them to get that right, and it is. It's absolutely perfect. The jumping, floating around, and using a helipad, and there are some ridiculously huge battles in it now because the PS4 can shift so much more around the screen. You can get like maybe 20, 30 enemies on that screen at some point. You get swarmed by them. But amongst the platforming, just when you're thinking, okay, I've done enough platforming, it will bring something new into the mix. You get the grav boots, you get there's hoverboard races, 6 of them to complete. There's a jetpack section, which is a completely new world. Because I think the jetpacks only arrived in Ratchet Clank Future, one of them, so that's been taken from that.
Fairly early on, you get to fly around in a spaceship type thing.
The spaceships, which I think again were from about Ratchet 3.
Right.
They didn't exist in the first game, so there's dogfighting. There are Clank puzzle sections, which only came in Future, I think, which I hated in Future. They were just
What
annoying
the
as
time
hell.
manipulation ones?
Yeah, they were.
Oh no, those are the best things.
Oh, I hated them. Instead, in this, Clank gets to control, I can't remember what they're called, something like electrobots, little robots.
Right.
And you can transform them into jump pads, power sources, and so you have to use combinations of them and maybe swap halfway through the level, what they're doing, to puzzle your way through these little Clank sections. They're not very long, but they're really good. They just break up the action just nicely. There's also there's a Clank section where you get to run into the screen, which I know a lot of people really don't like that kind of thing, but it doesn't last long, so that's quite fun.
It's not the best. I think the main thing is when there's an obstacle that you have to try and avoid, and it's just like.
It's pretty obvious. I mean, I didn't die once when I was doing that, so it's okay. But yeah, hoverboards, jetpacks. You get the grav boots, so you get to run around the ceiling. There are puzzles on some of the doors, which are kind of like laser beam locks. Thankfully, you can auto-hack them because they actually heed the story if you can't get past them, so you can cheat your way through those. But yeah, there's plenty of variety. It's not just running, jumping, and smashing crates.
And where are we with the difficulty? Because from the little that I played to record the footage, I did die a few times, like with the number of enemies on screen shooting at me.
There's a lot, isn't there?
They throw a hell of a lot, and I think it's just like the number of bullets I just wasn't quite getting out of the way in time, that kind of thing. But how is it across the whole game?
I died a few times up until about 2/3 of the way through. Then there are one of the levels, I think it's the Gadgetron level. The difficulty ramps up horrendously. There was one battle I was stuck on for about an hour and a half, and you have to actually. Whereas before you could just pick your weapon and just blast whatever you like. This one, there's really limited ammo. There's some really heavily armored enemies, and you have to decide. Basically use some tactics and decide what you're going to take out with your sniper rifle, what you're going to take out with your homing missiles. Yeah, it does go up. It spikes drastically at 2 points. The end battle isn't too hard, to be honest, so it kind of goes down after that. But yeah, it took me somewhere about 15 hours to go through the whole thing.
That's good length.
Good length, especially for 26 quid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, yeah. It's 30 quid in recommended retail price on that PlayStation store, and obviously it's going to be cheaper. Yeah.
Amazon, I think, is 26.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, overall then, good game.
Loved it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, it's benefited hugely from the movie. The script is brilliant, proper laugh out loud funny. There's always someone talking about something, even if it's like an announcement going on in the background. I think I mentioned in the review, you get to play, you get to turn into a hologram as Quark near the end. And he has to wave at people, and if you try and unlock the doors, and when you're not Quark, the computer gives you a sassy remark like, "I cannot detect any pectorals," or muscles are missing. And there's as I said, there's little things going on, little characters talking about things. You can creep up on some of the enemies and they're having conversations like they do in like Uncharted, they're just chatting away. So yeah, it's very, very funny. It plays brilliantly. It looks gorgeous, and it's, you know, less than 30 quid.
Cool.
Brilliant,
Well,
as far as I'm concerned.
I think you have recommended it highly enough.
I have.
Yes.
Go buy it.
And yeah, that's where we're going to wrap things up for today's video. You can head over to sixthaxis.com if you're not already there, and read Tough Cub's written review with the score at the bottom and the pros and cons and all this stuff. The all-important score. Also, head over to the site for more news, reviews, previews, and all the stuff. And lastly, I'm just going to ask you, if you have enjoyed this video, click like. If you want to see more videos like this, click and subscribe, because then you get to get the emails that tell you that they're coming out. And with that,
exciting.
we will say goodbye.
Bye.
Since you're now one of us, I thought it was time to get you a new ride.
Whoa, a Class G Star Jumper? Is this for me?
Technically, it's Galactic Ranger property, but if you survive, complete this super secret yet completely on the level mission, she'll be yours to use however you like.
What is this secret mission?
I call it Operation Falling Star.